Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Knightmare Tower. This is a game by Juicy Beast Studios that originally comes to us from the mobile market, and sometimes that has certain connotations associated with it. I've covered a lot of stuff that has moved from mobile to PC over the past couple of years. Some of it has been, you know, not so great, and some of it has been really solid. I think of stuff like 10 million, which was really great, and Knightmare Tower feels a lot like it's in that latter category of stuff that is, you know, obviously there's trappings of mobile stuff going on here. It's a game that certainly you can play it and be like, okay, this is simple, but it's also really addictive, really fun, kind of inventive, and above all else, just a pretty good bang for your buck considering it's $4 on Steam. So, sorry to not bury the lead and immediately open a video by being like, hey, I kind of like this, but sincerely, in spite of the fact that I don't necessarily have an affinity for most mobile games, for the most part, that's changing as time goes on, I think, and I become more open to it, and the games become, I think, a little bit better as well. I like Knightmare Tower a lot. It's a very simplistic game. I'm going to explain what's going on here. Basically, we're a knight. All of our princesses in the land have been kidnapped. We have to go get them back. Very simplistic premise. The way that we do this is by launching our rocket upwards, and we just basically want to climb as high as we possibly can. You know what this feels like? It's kind of like a reverse ridiculous fishing, where instead of, like, you know, descending to the depths of the sea or the ocean and catching fish, we're actually ascending to the top of this tower. The higher we get, the more money we get. We use that money to upgrade ourselves, and it has a very, like, reminiscent of 10 million-esque kind of progression system that goes on. So I'm going to try to explain what's happening here. Again, I use the word simple a lot. I don't mean that to be derisive. What I mean by that is that it's just a very easy game to kind of explain. So basically, all that we are in control of beyond our initial speed is moving left and right and killing enemies. Now, each of these enemies has their own kind of, you know, amount of HP and distinctive quirks. Like the little blue enemies create spikes. If we attack those spikes when they're out, we take damage. If all of our damage runs out, we die. The other way that we die is if the lava at the bottom of the screen, you can't see it right now, but if that catches up to us, which that's probably how I die, the most that I die over the course of the game. Every enemy that you kill, you can see numbers popping out of them. That's the speed that we get. So we're trying to maintain our speed as high as we possibly can, to get as high as we possibly can, if you know what I mean, which will allow us to get further and further into the tower. So I've called some legendary monsters here. Basically, this is just a way for me to farm up some additional speed. Now, this is not like your traditional Spelunky-esque, you know, roguelike-ish formula or anything like that. This is a game where you are going to have to, at least in my experience, grind to make progress. If you miss, by the way, if you attack and miss, you lose a lot of speed. You don't die or lose HP. It's actually something maybe a little worse, because by losing the speed, it makes it very unlikely, or very difficult for you to actually make progress overall. But we're actually doing a pretty good job here. So the higher up you get, the more enemies you get. Not every enemy, as you can see, is killed in one hit. One of the stats that we can actually augment is our damage. So the more coins we get, the more we can shop for upgrades and stuff like that. This is where the 10 million thing comes in. You know, I said it's not like, you know, Spelunky or Isaac in that, ooh, that was bad. In that you can, you know, justifiably expect to win your first time out if your skill is really good. Maybe that's something, if you were truly amazing at the game, that could be feasible, but, oh, I didn't die, and now I'm about to die again. Maybe that's something, if you were really amazing, that might be swingable, but, ooh, the lava's catching up. This is bad news for us. Gotta get some speed and some HP. Oh, we actually made it to the newest section. I did not expect to make progress. So we've rescued a princess. I'm just gonna let her fall into the lava. No, she's safely descending, and then the lava caught up with us. So we saved a princess, and we'll probably get some rewards for that in the form of money. There's quests. As you complete those quests, you get more money. Basically, what I'm trying to get at over the course of this is that you do need to level up. You're not gonna win with your base stats. So after every mission that you finish, you get coins based on the quests that you complete and the progress that you made, and you can use those to upgrade yourself. You can buy things like extra luck, gain more speed when defeating monsters, get a speed boost, which is your boost after you kill like a certain number of enemies in a row. Let's pick up a lot of low-level stuff here, because I already have decent attack, decent life. Life is rarely what kills me. So let's pick up some of these. So let's get like less speed loss due to air friction. That seems good. Let's get more extraction power. In fact, let's pick up a few of those and get extra luck. And is there anything else in the armory? No, we can't afford anything there. Let's save our money then. So that's it. That's Knightmare Tower. And hopefully, you know, now that you've watched a round of it, you kind of get where I'm coming from this being like a mobile, a game that comes from mobile, right? Like, this is a game that is very simplistic, and it's meant to be played not necessarily in short bursts, but it's meant to be played in rounds, and each round might take you anywhere from, you know, 30 seconds to 5 minutes. That being said, where that's sometimes like a kiss of death for a lot of these games that make it to PC, you're like, well, why would I play this? Like, it's a pretty good diversion when I'm on the bus, but after I'm off the bus, I want to play something, you know, like Europa Universalis, where I can really sink my teeth into it or something like that. Oh, careful. It's the saving grace is that it's really fun, and it's quite addictive as well. I found myself, you know, normally I play like an hour roughly of games before doing a Let's Look At. I have only played about 45 minutes of this as of the time of this recording, but I knew what I was doing after like 10 minutes. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to. First off, that's kind of journalistically irresponsible, quote unquote. You know, I'm not really doing my due diligence. But I was also like, you know what? I want to play a little bit further. Like, it's one of those games where when you have a bad run, you want to come back from it and be like, no, I want to prove to myself that I can do better than that. And, you know, I don't think this is the kind of thing that many people out there would end up spending hundreds and hundreds of hours on. But, ooh, we didn't do that one quite in time. But I have found myself enjoying it a lot more than a lot of mobile stuff that ends up making its way to the PC. And again, that's where I kind of, like, fall on the not Jack Lumber, the 10 million thing. I think the 10 million comparison, oh, that was really bad of me, is actually really strong. Because 10 million is a game that a lot of people would probably say that it works best on mobile, but that game totally works on PC as well. I didn't beat it, but I almost beat it on PC. And I watched Kate play a bunch of it on mobile, and she really liked it a lot. That was really stupid of me. I probably could have gotten much higher there. But we did get some rewards anyway. So yeah, this is kind of in the same boat. You know, for $4, I think this is the game that even if you're not necessarily into this sort of thing, you could easily get, like, you know, half an afternoon of fun out of it trying to beat it. It doesn't look like it's going to be particularly long. It is a game where, you know, skill is maybe, sounds kind of derisive, but it's not that important. Like, as you can see, you know, one mistake doesn't end your run. But if you like ridiculous fishing, this really does feel like a kind of dungeon-y ridiculous fishing. In aesthetics, obviously it's not a dungeon-crawling game. And I don't think the mobile kind of design hurts it in this case. And, you know, if you're watching this and you're like, why is Ryan hating on mobile games? I'm not. I'm just explicitly stating, you know, my own biases, which I think is an important part of criticism. And that's that I don't play that many mobile games. I play stuff typically that is fairly far from mobile. Not to sound like a snob or anything like that, because I don't really care if you're into those kind of games. That's totally cool. But what I am saying is if you're like me, this is why this comparison is important. Don't write this off just because you're like, oh, it looks like it has an iOS kind of art style. It really is, it feels kind of special, as opposed to a lot of the ports that come out and you're like, oh, this is $10 for a game that was $1 on iOS, and, like, it still has, like, swipe interfaces and stuff like that. Like, it still prompts me to, like, tap the screen. This has controller support, by the way, which is what I'm playing it on right now, but I have to imagine that the PC controls... Ooh, careful there. I have to imagine that the PC controls are mostly fine, given that really... Oh, I attacked the spikes there. Given that really all you have going on is moving left to right and then hitting the A button, or the space bar, I think. Or I think you actually hit down in order to attack on the PC version. Oh, we got a horn level 2, so I think it's... Oh, I don't like that. I prefer horn level 1 now. But I guess we do get double the speed from this guy. Alright, I can understand that. So it really is a game, beyond maintaining your HP, which is of course important, maintaining your speed is chief amongst your concerns. So really want to get that speed up as high as possible, get as many streaks as possible. You can notice that there's a bar over, or next to my speed indicator, which is at like 180 right now if you look in the top left. That bar fills up the more enemies we manage to attack and kill, and when it fills up all the way, we get a boost of a certain amount of speed, which is important. I think the next thing I'll upgrade is attack. To me, the meta of this game seems to be get the maximum speed per attack possible, and then your life will be better as a result, and your chances will be better as a result. It really is something that's fun in its moment-to-moment gameplay, and that gives it the strength to kind of you know, despite the fact that it's simplistic, the strength to kind of have some staying power. Again, it does feel like the kind of game that you would probably beat in a couple of hours. At 40 minutes, I've rescued almost all of the princesses, from what I can tell by the game's interface, at least. Oh, that was really bad. We were making some good progress there. So I might be approaching the end here, but I still would definitely recommend it, you know. I've teed off on some mobile to PC ports. This isn't worth teeing off on. It's quite good. If you don't like it, then that's fine as well, but it's more of a personal preference thing than, like, this is a blight on the industry. What I really hate seeing with mobile ports is when they come out for PC and they're $10, whereas when they were on iOS, they were $1 or $2 or $3. And I know that people are always like, that's the pressure of the, you know, distribution channel that they're using. If a game's not $3 on iOS, it's hard for it to get traction because people see other games that are super cheap. That being said, well, you know, if you've kind of committed to that iOS boat of being $3, don't come out on PC with the exact same edition of the game, except with, like, resolution options and then charge 4 times as much. It kind of sends the wrong message. That being said, you know, I'm pretty laissez-faire when it comes to stuff like that as well, so my other thought is just don't buy it if you're not into that sort of thing. Cool, we unlocked new life ups. Alright, so you can see there's only 2 princesses left here. I don't know how high the tower actually goes, but I have to imagine I'm getting pretty close. I'm gonna try to get more weapon power. You can also see that we're getting pretty close to the end of, like, the actual... Yeah, that seems really good. We're getting pretty close to the end of the actual upgrade towers here, so we'll do a couple more runs here. By upgrading my damage, it means that enemies that took 2 hits to kill now should take 1. Usually, the way that it works, I'm not sure if each one doubles your damage, but each one takes, like, 1 hit off of enemies that normally took multiple hits to kill. So if something took 3 hits, it should take 2. If something took 2 hits, it should take 1. And again, that's, you know, my strategy for the most part, is just maximizing the amount of speed you get per actual attack. I actually prefer Horn level 1, I think, as opposed to Horn level 2. I think I got more speed out of it, but that just might be me being kind of bad. I'm not happy with my speed being where it is right now, but getting some money here. And again, like, the main thing I want to get across here is, you know, no, this is not the kind of thing that you're probably going to get 40 hours out of. But if you were okay paying $3 for 10 million, and you enjoyed yourself with it, I think you would be okay paying $4 for Knightmare Tower as well, and I think you would have a good time with it. 10 million is one of those games that I remember quite fondly, actually. I really enjoyed the time I spent with 10 million, and, you know, looking back into 2013, I know a lot of people didn't necessarily like it. I think TB kind of hated it. But it was a fond experience that I had. It was one of the few games that I really spent some substantial amount of time with after the time that my recording was done. Mostly through watching Kate actually play it, and she plays it all the time, even though she's actually beaten it. But anyway, this is not Let's Look at 10 Million, so I apologize for consistently bringing that up. But there's only so much you can talk about when a game is this simplistic. You know, I'm not going on a long form, like, you know, Polygon-style feature about the beauty of simplicity or something like that. I'm here to tell you if this... you know, simple game that you're seeing in front of you is worth $4. I think it is. I think it's exhilarating, frustrating, addicting. I hate addicting. Addictive. That's, I know what, for someone who tries not to get bent out of shape about language and who's always, you know, ragging on quote-unquote grammar Nazis for being pedantic, addicting is just one of those words that, for whatever reason, I don't like. But anyway, this is not good for me. I am definitely gonna die. If there's one thing that, you know, from like a design standpoint I would change, I do kind of wish you didn't have to farm as many levels to succeed. Because my concern is not that, like, oh, you know, I don't want to farm levels. My concern is more that I think it makes it so that the game is less replayable once you actually beat it. Whereas if it was like, well, as you go along, you can just try to keep your speed up. Like, basically what I want for me is that idea in the back of my head when I start a run that winning is possible. And as of right now, I don't really feel like that. I feel like, okay, like, I'll get another upgrade in 3 or 4 runs, and that upgrade will make it possible for me to reach the next tier. And then after that, victory will be possible, you know? Almost a little bit more of an Isaac or a Spelunky type vibe to it, where you know, you don't, I mean, you do unlock stuff as runs go on in Isaac, but most of the time you kind of start with a blank slate and then you try to build something amazing off of that. I'm not saying every game needs to have roguelike-ish elements. I am just saying that I kind of wish that every run felt a little bit more meaningful, because, like, this run is basically just farming, and the next run is probably just going to be farming, and the run after that, probably just going to be farming. But eventually there will come a time when I succeed. But apart from that, you know, I don't really have much criticism to level at at Knightmare Tower. It's quite good, and you know, it's a weird time to do a video because I'm pretty sure the Steam sale is going to start tomorrow. It's a weird time to release a game because I'm pretty sure the Steam sale is going to start tomorrow. But consider picking it up nonetheless if you like what you see, because it is a game that I was going to say, please, some enemies come back to life here. It's a game that I've had a surprising amount of fun with. I always hate to say surprising, like when it comes to like games, because it makes it seem like you have some kind of, you know, bias against a game, right? But whenever I see a mobile game coming to PC, I do have, you know, a little bit extra cautiousness or wariness, but this one definitely does it right. Still not the kind of thing that's going to be for everybody, but that's okay too. Okay, let's see if we can just string together like another princess on this run then. That kind of came out wrong. Get some more HP. And really, like, the run-to-run or moment-to-moment gameplay is super fun. Oh, I need that health. I was so close to actually getting it. Let's do one more. I do want to do one more run. Do we have enough money to buy something else half decent? Let's see. I really think extraction power is pretty good, so I'm going to get that, because that gives us extra speed per enemy. And I should mention, I meant to mention this earlier, but it's always such a hot button issue, you know? There are meme references in the game. If you get a perfect launch, sometimes it says, like a sir. You know, it's like a medieval, like a boss or something like that. If you're the kind of person who gets annoyed by stuff like that, well, you're probably going to get annoyed by it here. For the most part, I don't really care, you know? What I'm gonna say is try not to let it, you know, get in the way of experiencing a pretty good game. Like, Guacamelee is such a good game, yet people who have never played it railed against it online because there's, like, meme references in the background, and you're like, well, really? Like, if you're looking for an excuse to not buy a game, you can find a better one than it having memes in the background. The stuff in Watch Dogs, admittedly, is just kind of silly, but, it's, like, totally against the kind of tone of that game, but, in this, it's totally fine, you know? You do have to remember where the game is coming from. You know, a platform in which Angry Birds has made Rovio approximately $11 trillion, so keep in mind, you know, the design constraints that they're working under there. Hey, we got another quest here. And I'd say my speed has been piss poor so far. This has been a terrible run, but, you know, at least we're still... that's the thing that I remember when I said, like, you know, I wish that every run felt a little bit more meaningful. The flip side of that is that even if you have a bad run, you're still earning coins, right? It's not like you're earning nothing from a bad run. But I kind of prefer the all or nothing at all model. The O-Town model, as I believe it's been called by monetization engineers. I am definitely going to get caught by this lava pretty soon. Talk about a lucky bounce there. Ooh. Oh, that was really bad. I am about to get caught. And these enemies are really making me wish that maybe I up my damage potential a little bit more. Oh, we got some extra HP. It's really speed that's kind of worrying me right now. I haven't even mentioned anything about the controls. Take that as a good sign. The controls are fine. You don't get speed for picking up power-ups either, which is why I'm desperately trying to get the fuck out of here. Oh, I'm still alive. I am barely still living. Yeah, there we go. That was a good run, though. I had a good time with it. Knightmare Tower. It's $4 on Steam. It's 10% off for its opening week sale, so it's 40 cents off. Go check it out. There is a link in the video description below to pick it up on Steam if you're interested. Fun little diversion, and surprisingly addictive. It's good. I like it. I don't like it for a mobile to PC game. I like it, just in general. That's more heady praise. In any case, if you enjoyed the video, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.